What if I told you the NFL's next great interior pass rusher was not drafted, not signed off a practice squad after a stellar college career, but was discovered lurking in the developmental league wilderness, carrying the ghost of a failed basketball career? Jalen Redmond was essentially discarded by the Carolina Panthers, a player deemed too raw, too inconsistent for the big leagues. Yet just months later, he was registering elite pressure rates in a league nobody watched. Welcome to Touchdown News, where we don't just track the biggest stars, we track the trajectories that redefine potential. And Redmond's gravitational pull toward Minnesota is the perfect story of destiny meeting scheme. The story of Jalen Redmond is not a simple arc of talent meeting opportunity. It's a chaotic testament to the NFL's occasional inability to recognize fundamental athletic fit. And it reveals how one coach, Brian Flores, saw the schematic soulmate that 31 other teams missed. Redmond's initial path was littered with false starts. After the heartbreak of going undrafted out of Oklahoma, where health and the chaos of the COVID-19 season overshadowed his flashes of brilliance, like the 10 TFLs he logged as a senior, the Panthers quickly cut him in August 2023. The system rejected him. He took the inevitable detour through the XFL, playing for the Arlington Renegades, where in just 4 games he amassed 18 tackles and 4.5 sacks. This detour, this apparent professional demotion, was paradoxically the forge where his NFL career was hardened. As Dr. Evelyn Reed, a sports psychology consultant who worked with XFL personnel, states, "Scouting missed the forest for the trees on Redmond. They saw the injury history, the perceived inconsistency. They didn't see the explosive body control forged on the basketball court or the sheer desire to prove every single cutter wrong. The XFL gave him the necessary reps to quiet the doubts and amplify the violence." When the Vikings signed him in June 2024, Redmond's future was still precarious, marked by another roster cut in October, followed by a frustrating stint on the practice squad. This is the valley of the narrative, the time when most players vanish. But Redmond didn't vanish, he persisted, and the payoff came the moment Brian Flores introduced his defensive scheme. Redmond himself recalled the moment with stunning clarity and simplicity. "I recognized it immediately. I thought, yeah, this is me. That's perfect. This is what I do." Flores' defense, built on aggressive interior pressure and allowing defensive linemen to utilize their athletic instincts rather than forcing them into two-gap rigidity, was the exact environment Redmond needed. Flores recognized that Redmond's natural geometry, his low center of gravity combined with his 6'4" frame, made him a destructive force in specific alignments. Flores himself calls these players unpolished diamonds who meet checkpoints. It wasn't about teaching him a new language, it was about confirming the vocabulary he already knew. Flores remarked about the initial defensive installation. "We saw a 6'4", 270-pound man who moves like an edge rusher but holds the anchor of a 3 technique. You don't coach that, you unleash that." This fit, this synergy between player and scheme is the dramatic climax of his journey, turning a discard into a foundational piece. The statistical evidence emerging from this perfect marriage is now undeniable. Through Week 8, Redmond leads all Minnesota defensive linemen with 3 sacks and ranks 3rd on the entire defense with 5 tackles for loss, trailing only elite players like Jonathan Greenard and Levi Drake Rodriguez. Pro Football Focus assigned Redmond a highly respectable 76.1 overall defensive grade, driven largely by an electrifying 79.6 pass rush grade. This data obliterates the counterargument that inevitably surfaces around players who emerge quickly. Skeptics will argue he's merely benefiting from Greenard drawing double teams on the edge, or that the scheme is designed to inflate interior numbers regardless of talent. But this ignores the specific, personalized impact Redmond brings. Coach Kevin O'Connell, typically reserved after disappointing losses, made a point of calling out Redmond as a consistent bright spot on tape, validating that his success is not merely circumstantial, but based on individual execution. The reliability he brings, 20 total tackles, fourth among Vikings defensive linemen, demonstrates that the flash is transforming into sustained performance. As Redmond himself emphasizes, I always say this: just be more consistent and perform better, whether it's in the sack column or the run stops. Sacks are hard to get, very hard to get. I'm happy I have 3 and I want more. But being a good run stopper and being consistent in whatever it is, that's the most important thing. And here is the beautiful irony, the unexpected plot twist that makes his reliability so unique. Jalen Redmond was never supposed to be an elite defensive lineman. He was a high school basketball star, a player who almost never laced up cleats until his junior year. The agility, the quickness off the snap, and the stunning body control that Ben Lieber's film study highlighted, the textbook choice of angles, the powerful shed technique, the rapid first step, all of this athleticism was fundamentally forged on the hardwood, practicing fast breaks and vertical leaps, not in a defensive line stance. He almost gave up football multiple times due to setbacks, relying on the unwavering belief of his family, particularly his young son, to keep him anchored. I always sit back and feel, wow, like I'm actually here, he confessed, acknowledging the improbable road from Midwest City basketball to NFL defensive stardom. When asked about his most meaningful accomplishment, he chose a statistical anomaly, a peak performance that validates the consistency. Sacking Aaron Rodgers, the 4-time All-Pro, twice in Dublin. Sacking Aaron Rodgers, not once but twice, in Dublin? That's the kind of thing you look back on and realize, I am here. He's one of the best. It's like the guys who got to sack Tom Brady. But for Redmond, the pride isn't in the highlight reel. It's in the trust he's earned through showing up every day, proving that his athletic fit under Brian Flores wasn't an accident, but a destiny realized on a developmental league field. His journey proves that sometimes a player has to be completely broken down by the established system before he can find the one place where he is perfectly engineered to succeed. If you enjoyed this deep dive into how Jalen Redmond went from being an NFL afterthought to a foundational piece of the Vikings defense, make sure you like this video, share it with fellow football fanatics, and hit that subscribe button for more explosive analysis on Touchdown News. We want to know, do you believe Redmond's high PFF scores and sack numbers are sustainable long-term in Brian Flores' scheme, or is this just the peak of a high-variance season? Let us know in the comments below.